Hey everybody, what's going on? Juan here, welcome back to the channel, and for this video we're going to be doing something brand new that has never been done before right here on Epic GC, which is right here with me. I got myself a couple of strategy guides because back in December, I don't know why I did this. I went to eBay and I was browsing, and you know how eBay, whenever you browse something, you actually click it. If you don't buy it, they'll be like, hey, are you sure you don't want this? Are you sure you don't want this? For whatever reason, they had a stack of about 4 to 5 different strategy guides, originally priced at like $15, and the seller dropped it to like $3. So I was like, I gotta buy that. You know, I'm collecting wrestling video games, so I maybe don't really plan on collecting a ton of strategy guides for wrestling games, but why not? So I got a couple here. So I finally figured out a somewhat maybe decent setup to record in a top-down view format. So what we're going to be doing is that I got a couple of different strategy guides. I even got a really cool magazine here that, depending on whether you guys do or don't like this type of formatted video, we can do more of these. So today, we're going to be taking a look at the strategy guide for WCW versus NWO World Tour for the N64. Many of you maybe don't know this game, but Revenge is something that is very familiar to you. That is because Revenge came out right after that. So this is the originator of your No Mercies, of your all of those awesome wrestling video games. And you see that whoever owned this before I did thought that the Giant, Big Show, was a very angry guy. And I guess somebody sold this at a garage sale or something for $5. So we got back-breaking moves for over 40 wrestlers. I'm very excited because I read like 2 pages of this and I was like, okay, these guys want to kill wrestling for kids, and you'll see what I mean. So the official strategy guide for WCW versus NWO World Tour by Brian Boyle. Acknowledgements. There is no I in team. My deepest, most sincere, most humble thanks to my extended family of Team Prima or Prima. October 9th, 1997. He also wrote a couple of other strategy guides. We got some cool stuff. So, okay, this right here is what immediately made me go, oh boy, if I was a kid reading this, I'll be very confused. So first up, you got a couple of screenshots about the game. Part 1, hear this out. Game power. Step into the squirt circle. It's time to dance. Ask yourself, do you want to be a face or a green heel? Which for a kid, it would be like, what do you mean, a face or a heel? Do you want your car to be filled with duds or squashes? Do you want to be the draw that fills the house? With WCW versus NWO World Tour, the official strategy guide to show you the way your house will pop with heat. Whew. And your finishes will be pumped with spots. I can't make this up. WCW versus NWO World Tour, the official strategy guide, is no kayfabe. You won't need a save with this book at your side. Don't blow up. Turn every dance into a shoot. Stretch your opponents and maybe even draw a little hard way juice. I can't. Who wrote this? Like, did at any point anybody read this and go like, man, you know, damn marks, damn wrestling people, they're gonna get this. They're gonna get this. So it actually does clarify what each of these things mean. So in case you're a kid that is very confused by what you're reading right now, it completely kills the illusion of wrestling for you. You know, telling you that a face is a good guy, a heel is a bad guy, being green is inexperienced. It doesn't really talk about X-Pac heat, but that was not really a thing at this time. So on the left side, we do have the talent roster for this video game. We have Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko, Ultimo Dragon, Ric Flair, Rick Steiner. Very good roster. And keep in mind, this was, as far as I know, basically a skin swap. And such was the case with Revenge as well, of some awesome Japanese wrestling games. So when we go to the second page, so what do? They talk about the different details with the controllers themselves. All across, we do have a couple of different screenshots. Lex Luger is in your corner, so you know you're having a pretty good time. And I love the controller layout of these games where you could, you know, do the soft grapple, the hard grapple, all across, all the way to WWF No Mercy. That was pretty awesome. And see, this is where things start going wrong because we actually have a screenshot of Buff Bagwell. And with this one, I don't know what happened, but it seems like they only wanted Scott and they couldn't afford to actually put the last name of Steiner. So I don't really care about this part too much. I think it's kind of boring. What I'm very excited to do is to go to the wrestlers portion that does have a bit of a description about each one. And I think somewhere in here, there's also a description about WCW. Here we go. Okay. So I'm actually going to read this here. WCW World Championship Wrestling has a long history with its roots in the original National Wrestling Alliance of 1948. The NWA held Starrcade 83, the first wrestling supercard seen by more than 15,000 fans in November 1983. A year later, Ric Flair, insert woo here, won pro wrestling's first $1 million prize when guest referee Smokin' Joe Frazier halted Starrcade 2. Flair's opponent, Dusty Rhodes, was bleeding too much. In April 1987, the NWA purchased the UWF. Several UWF wrestlers, including Sting, joined the NWA in November of 1988. Entrepreneur and media magnate Ted Turner bought the NWA. Turner's TBS Superstation featured NWA's World Championship Wrestling TV program every Saturday night for several years. In December 1990, the National Wrestling Alliance officially renamed the World Championship Wrestling. Internationally celebrated wrestler Hulk Hogan joined WCW in June 1994. And now we're just going to skip ahead and check out some of the wrestlers. So first up, the total package, although he was not much of a total package here, or ever really. Lex Luger, height 6'4", 270, signature move, the torture rack. Lex Luger found wrestling stardom quickly after a standout gridiron career in the NFL, CFL, USFL, and with the University of Miami and its Hurricanes coming through. That's a football team, right? I think I can kind of get that. So actually get, a bit of a preview, different screenshots. What is this? We got a coconut crush. We got the torture rack. We got a shoulder smash attack right here at the bottom. Got a couple things, but I don't really care about them too much. Oh my God, people. This is autographed by Sting, or at least a kid that was attempting to sign on behalf of Sting. So this is, I'm thinking about the time, this is when Sting was transitioning into Crow Sting, right? Because if you do look at the screenshots, it is not the traditional Sting that we ended up getting a little bit later. So this is around fake Sting era. Shrouded in mystery and controversy, Sting lurks at the fringe of WCW versus NWO battle lines. Draped in black and wielding a baseball bat, Sting has created a dark, silent aura that intimidates everyone, but not Scott Steiner. His allegiance only to himself has everyone guessing his next move. This native of Venice Beach, California, has been the franchise superstar of WCW since the promotion started. Where's the finishers? Did this game have like a ground? Okay, we do have the Scorpion Death Drop. Where's the Death Lock? It's probably somewhere there and I can't read it. Then we got the Giant at 7'4". Holy crap. Okay, I think they slightly exaggerated his height with signature moves, the choke slam and the chokehold. Destroying all in his path, the Giant has created tall tales, not fairy tales, with ferocious finality. Mammoth match-ending chokeslams have gained awestruck attention for wrestling's biggest young superstar. The Giant, 25, think about that. It's always been so fascinating to me how young the Giant, Paul White, Big Show, whatever you want to call him, how young he was at the time that he was there in WCW. Going in, becoming champion, it's just freaking insane to really think about. When going back, he's in the cover of the damn game at 25 years old, right next to Hulk Hogan. How awesome and amazing is that? Who else is here? Oh, boy. Keep in mind, this is Steiner Brothers, Scott Steiner. So this is before the blonde hair, before the complete makeover, before he gained like 80 pounds of muscle. We have it 6'1", 235 with the signature move, the belly to back suplex. Now, I don't know if they just stopped caring about the profiles for the other people. Yeah, it's definitely shorter. Pulverized, tenderized, Steinerized. Oh, man. Scott Steiner, gifted with an eye-popping Herculean physique, is always just a belly-to-belly suplex away from victory. Here we see blood from one of his opponents, maybe. Not much going on there. Then we got Rick Steiner. Rick Steiner, known as the Dog-Faced Gremlin, gives fans a spirited woof woof while sporting his trademark coal black mustache, dog collar, and wrestling headgear. WCW tag teams now realize the supersize effect of being Steinerized. I hope these people did not get paid much to read this. Okay, we got Ric Flair here, which by this time, He was a 13-time World Heavyweight Champion. Woo. With the flying knee drop as one of his signature maneuvers. So we have styling and profiling to an unprecedented 13 World Championships. The Nature Boy, Ric Flair, is one of the... Why am I doing like a Dusty Rhodes? I'm going to try this again. Okay, let's see here. Styling and profiling to an unprecedented 13 World Championships, baby. The Nature Boy, Ric Flair, is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Incredible matches and charismatic interviews destined him for wrestling immortality, baby. Oh boy, I can just feel you hitting that unsubscribe button right now. His breathtaking entrances, glittering robes, and blonde mane, as well as his feared figure four leg lock, flying knee drop, and cocky ring strut, all are patented Nature Boy. Woo! Oh man, Ultimo Dragon. This was one of my favorite guys in WCW. The Cruiserweight division is something I could do an entire video about. And eventually, depending how things go, I could talk a little bit more about wrestling, not, just limited to video games, not reviewing on a week-to-week basis, but WCW and the Cruiserweight division, that was my jam, baby. Now I'm just going to keep saying baby. A name that is known the world over, Ultimo Dragon was born in Japan, migrated to Mexico, and is now a top wrestler in WCW. He can claim the prestigious honor of holding 9 belts at the same time. This masked, adept mat technician is a well-balanced wrestler, knocking out opponents with lethal kicks and high-flying rope work. I love, so many of the things he does. He was truly an innovator, and if you really think about it, from the Asai moonsault, the Asai DDT, just the way that this man wrestled, I don't think people really talk about him as much as they should, and I kind of feel like going to the network after this and checking out some Ultimo Dragon. Do you have a favorite Ultimo Dragon match? Let me know. Here we go. Talking about the Cruiserweight division, Dean Malenko, the Iceman. This was probably one of the first Cruiserweights that I actually saw in WCW. I think it was one of the outdoor shows, a pretty early show. He battled Rey Mysterio, where Rey did this godly flip to the outside, damn near killing himself. Do you know which one I'm talking about? That had to be early 90s, but I'm really not too sure about that. Height 5'9", that's probably not true. Dean Malenko has a counter for every move, a defense for every attack, and an escape for every pinning combination. When it comes to finishing off an opponent, the end can come at any time from anywhere. The savvy ring veteran was born with wrestling in his veins, so this is like prelude to Randy Orton. The son of the late Professor Boris Malenko, a major star in the 1960s and 70s, young Dean was schooled in the finer points of the grappling game. He is especially proficient in the art of submission and mat-based wrestling. Dean Malenko, man, he definitely had a rough transition into WWF with the Radicals and stuff like that, because he tried to inject a little bit of personality that simply was not there. But in WCW, man, whenever he walked down with that serious music, awesome things are about to happen. Yes, Eddie Guerrero, arguably my favorite superstar in WWF, WCW, wrestling as a whole. And let's see what it says here. Because this is like generic babyface Eddie Guerrero here, right? Yeah, based on the outfit on the upper left side. And eventually, hey, if you want me to do like a small video playing this game a little bit, let me know. Hotter than a rattlesnake in the Texas sun. That's rough. Eddie Guerrero, wait a minute. So at the top, notice how they write Eddie Guerrero with a Y? But then here, they write it IE, which is the way that, we became accustomed years later. So that's a little weird. A native of El Paso, Texas, has everyone in WCW taking notice. His risky, relentless mix of aerial attacks and mat wrestling maneuvers keeps opponents constantly off balance. He's a versatile competitor who can adapt his style to suit virtually any opponent. From the frog splash, the personality, I think he was truly one of the first cruiserweights in WCW that you got it, right? He was not just a wrestler's wrestler. He truly was the first superstar in the WCW Cruiserweight division. Here we go. Okay, so if you talk about Eddie Guerrero, you got to talk about Rey Mysterio. And if you look at my wall, I think you can kind of tell I was a WCW fan growing up. And I think you can also tell with 2 Eddie Guerrero action figures. I was a big fan of him, as well as Ray. Standing at 5'6", 155 pounds, this high-flying dynamo is unquestionably the most exciting, spellbinding wrestler in the world. His acrobatic attacks and breathtaking counter moves spring off the ring ropes as if from a taut bow. Is that how you say it? I don't know. His withering, relentless attacks of high-risk maneuvers have paid off handsomely with championship success for Rey Mysterio Jr. He won the WCW Cruiserweight belt against veteran Dean Malenko. Eddie Guerrero is my favorite wrestler of all time. I don't know if I would have kept watching wrestling if it not were for Rey Mysterio. Because when you saw him, he truly was like a superhero come to life. Everything he did in the ring, it wasn't even the fact that it was aerial, because if you think about it, he didn't do like the most outrageous stuff like nowadays, like 630 splashes and all that, but he was so crisp, so buttery smooth, that you couldn't help but be amazed by everything he did. Oh boy, okay, so keep in mind we're talking about the past. This is WCW before anything crazy happened. Here we have Chris Benoit with the signature move of the diving headbutt. Aptly named the Crippler, Chris Benoit fights with the eye-blinking quickness of a mongoose with many devastating weapons at his disposal. The native of Edmonton, Alberta, is one of the game's most technically accomplished wrestlers. His alliance with the famed Four Horsemen alone speaks for the respect he's earned so rapidly in WCW. It is so unfortunate that there's always going to be debates about, Chris Benoit, the person versus the wrestler, and I'm not here to have that debate right now, but it is truly a shame everything that happened, considering the amazing superstar that he was in WCW and WWE. He was somebody that excelled, much like Chris Jericho, much like Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero, people that were actually able to get out of the Cruiserweight division and just became wrestlers as a whole, becoming world champions, and you got to applaud them for everything they did. And another guy that I honestly didn't like him, as a kid. It's not until I grew older, thinking about that, wow, coincidence, I actually have an autographed William Regal action figure right here. We got Steven Regal. At 6'4", Steven Regal doesn't just expect to be considered one of the finest wrestlers in WCW. He believes it to be his birthright. Regal's pompous manner has not won him many allies within the ranks of WCW. He regularly belittles other wrestlers and turns up his nose with bitter disgust when approached by fans. And William Regal, this is a guy that to this day, so many wrestlers credit him as the reason that they're in WWE, that they became inspired to become wrestlers. And when you think about his trajectory, everything he did, he was never the top guy, but everybody knew that there was something special about Steven Regal, William Regal, whatever you want to call him. He was simply put awesome. Okay, and that's it for the WCW portion. Now we're going to be getting to the NWO roster, and then possibly just casually browse a little bit afterwards, because I know that a lot of the other guys in the roster are not the actual wrestlers from Japan, but, based on similar likeness, but because of licensing issues that were not in the game. So with the NWO, what does it say? The wrestlers of NWO were once part of WCW, but they got tired of making a lot of money for other people. They decided to pursue their dream to start a wrestling organization of their own and vowed that one day soon they'd take over WCW wholly and utterly. NWO, the New World Order, was co-founded by pro wrestlers Kevin Nash and Scott Hall on July 7th, 1996, when they, along with Hulk Hogan, took on Sting, Lex Luger, and Randy Savage in Bash at the Beach 96. When Hulk Hogan beat the Giant in Hog Wild 96, that following August to win the WCW World title, Hogan used a can of spray paint to rename the belt the NWO World Heavyweight title. The wrestlers of the NWO apply an aggressive, take-charge approach to everything they do. They train hard, work hard, and play hard as well. Check out the adjective, play. Most of all, NWO wrestlers are proud to declare they're the kind of guys who like to say, "We told you so." But Virgil, as far as I know, is not in this game. Is he in the game? Actually, don't know. First up, we got Hollywood Hogan. Unquestionably the most famous contemporary wrestler in the world, he's rewriting wrestling's future as the leader of the NWO. After making the industry what it is today, Hulk is doing things his way. Dressed in NWO black, Hollywood Hogan, Kevin Nash, and Scott Hall have staggered WCW with their challenge for supremacy. Next up, we have Sting, which I appreciate the fact that they have real Sting and fake Sting as well, so that's kind of cool, and they try to make him look a little bit different maybe. In a pathetic attempt to embarrass the WCW superstar, NWO created its own version of Sting. This weakling has attempted to confuse fans and foes alike, but no imitation can match the power of the Stinger. And I thought this is a pretty cool storyline. You know, keep in mind that when I first started watching WCW, Surfer Sting was not really something that I knew too much about. Like, I had seen pictures of him, but this was around the time that I started watching, so I didn't know anything else beforehand, so I kind of thought that was simply Sting. So it's easy to point this out now as like, oh my God, that's not Sting, but hey, little old Juan, he did think this was the real deal. This man is buff, he is the stuff, and the girls just cannot get enough, because we got to talk about Marcus Buff Bagwell. Was WCW's golden boy. He was named WCW Rookie of the Year and won 3 WCW World Tag Team titles with 3 different partners. Now, having seen the light and joining NWO, Bagwell has jettisoned his, how do you say that? His ripped wrecking ball bod to another level. In a strap match, cage match, tag team, or singles brawl, Bagwell brings serious beef to the NWO. They just needed to figure out a way to incorporate beef into that sentence, didn't they? And Buff Bagwell, like, I was admittedly a big fan of him, especially his theme song. It may be on my Spotify playlist. Just maybe. Looking back now, he was annoying as hell because his smile was unlike any other smile I had ever seen before. Because it was this smile of like, I am the best. And to this day, you can tell the man never understood why he never reached the top. But you know who did reach the top was Judy Bagwell on top of that crane. I'm sad now thinking about Judy Bagwell on a pole, man. Those were the days. Remember Screaming Norman Smiley? Okay, so up next we have Eric Bischoff. I actually forgot about the fact that he's playable on the game. I've actually been listening to the 83 Weeks podcast. It's pretty good. You know, they talk about WCW, and they're up to over 5 episodes at the time of this recording here. And it's good. Like, he does seem to sometimes conveniently forget some details, but that's part of it. But at least the host, Conrad, he's doing an excellent job at calling him out on some of the BS. So definitely check out the podcast. That is 83 Weeks. Eric Bischoff is one of the most powerful men in wrestling today, earning his Richter scale levels of cheers and jeers. Cheers and jeers. Why? After directing the success of WCW as executive vice president and general manager by attracting the greatest superstars, finding the best young talent, and creating the hottest primetime show on basic cable, WCW Monday Night Live Nitro. What am I even saying? I was doing good. Bischoff jumped aboard at New World Order NWO, joining Hollywood Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Syxx, and Ted DiBiase. Eric Bischoff spearheaded the episodic drama of NWO's hostile takeover of WCW. And Eric Bischoff, like him, Paul Heyman, those are 2 guys that I think are virtually untouchable on the microphone. I think that if anybody else had a similar look and the same authority role, you know, in WCW, but if they didn't have the charisma that Eric Bischoff had, there is no way that the NWO takeover would have worked the way it did. Especially, you know, much like Vince Slater, you know, he was a part of the commentary team. People didn't even know he was the vice president, but the charisma was there, the character was there, and he solidified. You know, he made that look legitimate. The NWO takeover seemed almost too good to be true, and then the company died. Then we have Scott Norton, one of the wrestlers that people love the most and talk about the least. Get out of the way. The freight train is stepping into the ring. The strength of this power wrestler has his opponents shaking in their boots. Okay, come on. You didn't even try. You did not even try. Like, you could remove the name, and this could apply to anybody. Seriously, and I mean anybody. Okay, now we got big, sexy Kevin Nash. How does he look in this game? Yeah, I got to play this game. It's been too long. 7'1" Kevin Nash is a towering measuring stick for wrestling's future, partnered with NWO member Scott Hall as the championship tag team The Outsiders. The two are bad to the bone awesome. You know how this is written in the 90s? It says bad to the bone awesome. Nash has a special direct way of communicating, such as jackknifing WCW Executive VP Eric Bischoff through a table. The impact of such persuasion is amazing. Bischoff soon joined the NWO. Action is one thing, but talk is something Nash works like a master, and apparently in the booking decisions as well. Equipped with a lightning wit and superior intelligence, Nash dishes out biting banter faster than McDonald's spews burgers. 90s people, written in the 90s. Finding humor in most things except when he makes a joke of opponents, Nash is the soul of the NWO. This is very much true. Notice how they completely move aside like the whole wrestling part, because I don't think anybody ever thinks about Kevin Nash and is like, wow, amazing wrestler. But the man could talk, and the fact that he could talk and he was a legitimate giant made him legit. And he was entertaining to watch, whenever he came out, cutting a promo. But the moment the bell rang, I'm good. Now, on the opposite side of the spectrum, we do have Scott Hall, who is a fine, talented wrestler, and I'm very happy that he's gotten his life together thanks to DDP Yoga and many things. Nobody's perfect, but I'm very thankful that Scott Hall is definitely doing better now than in the past. He's power. He's pizzazz. He's Scott Hall, the man who started it all. Does that even rhyme? Seriously? First, he shocked the world by taking over WCW Monday Nitro. Then, he spun the planet in a new orbit, the New World Order. No doubt, the man has stroke. With his dark curls, 5 o'clock shadow, toothpick and shades, Scott Hall even looks menacing, confident, and fun. There's just something doesn't add up. Just something about the way this is worded. Menacing, confident, and fun. It's like, oh, I'm going to kill you, but then we're going to go to Chuck E. Cheese and have a good one. And now we have X-Pac, Sean Waltman, whatever you want to call him. NWO has a lucky member, 6. If anyone in WCW is literally going to kick butt, it's this guy. Really? What do you mean if anyone in WCW is literally going to kick butt, it's this guy? Does that not apply to everybody in the roster? A lethally trained black belt in Taekwondo, 6 brings extensive martial arts training that would make Chuck Norris proud. Wow. Okay. So this is way before the Chuck Norris memes and everything. I mean, keep in mind, Chuck Norris is amazing. But it is interesting to see that, written here. Now, his jumping spin wheel kicks test the ability of the mega talented ranks of the WCW Cruiserweight division. And joking aside, 6, X-Pac, Sean Waltman, one of the greatest cruiserweights of all time. I was never really a big fan of him growing up. It's not until afterwards that I really got a chance to see, hey, despite the heat and all the backstage stuff people talked about him, he was very talented. Okay, so with that, I do think we're done with the NWO roster. So we're just going to skim through a little bit. And some of these guys could be real. Some of them could not. I honestly don't know. So Kimchi, I know he's not. I know that these are all based on other people. I didn't even know kimchi was like an Asian dish or something like that. Found out many years later. We have Blackheart with the Blackheart Bomb. Puke Teka. So a lot of them, they are very much based on real wrestlers. This is a Hayabusa, if I'm not mistaken. Powder Keg. Is this Andre the Giant? No, he's only 6 feet tall. But man, these video games are so good. Out of the two, comparing WCW, NWO Revenge versus World Tour, this one graphically did not hold up all that well, but they're both very much awesome games. And this is supposed to be Abdullah the Butcher, right? So Latin? Yeah. The graphics may not be great, but that man is unmistakably supposed to be Abdullah the Butcher. We have Ali Baba with the Gamma Clutch and the Oasis DDT. The Black Ninja. I always just love to play as ninjas in wrestling video games, Aki-Man or AKI Man. I didn't know that he was simply based on the publishing or developing company that made Revenge, but he was so cool, the poses and all that. He felt like the perfect member or the cut member of the Ginyu Force in Dragon Ball Z. Am I right? Think about that. Just think about that a little bit. We have Shaolin. Is there anything at the end here? I want to see if there's any Easter eggs. You know how there's usually a couple of last pages where they talk about something else. What the hell? Notice for Black Widow, they just have a screenshot of World Cruiserweight Champion Grand Championship title match. Okay, sure. Why not? Joe Brewster. Yeah, I think those are literally placeholders. Oh my God. Okay, yes. This is exactly what I was looking for. Oh my God, I didn't see this initially. We have WCW merchandise. So we have Sting Bank, which is the Sting Bank A. So here's like a Sting Bank. This is 100% PVC. I'm more excited about this than everything else. This was how much? $15. Okay, cool. For B, we have a Sting limited edition collectible pin card. Oh man, the Sting mask. Who did not own a Sting mask? I had like 3 of these. This one was $5, made of polystyrene. I think that is the material. We have a WCW logo hat for $15. How much is this Sting? Oh my God, I would love to have that Diamond Dallas Page shirt nowadays. That is letter J, Diamond Cutter shirt. Bang! This new shirt featuring DDP is 100% shrunk cotton. Okay, I thought it was like 100% action-packed. I didn't think it would literally talk about the quality of the shirt. And folks, you can't order by phone. Call toll-free at 1-800-WCW-8468. Please add shipping and handling as follows. Okay, so how much is the shipping and handling? This is hard to read for you guys. Probably up to $25, add $5.95. If you spend over $100, you only add $12. Source code Sony3. What? There was a website, WCWWrestling.com. Did you have to put a source code to access the website? What are they talking about? Oh my God. I own this game. I think I have it for the N64. I don't believe. Do I even have? Never mind. I actually own it for both the N64 and the PS1. This is WCW Nitro, a terrible video game. But I own most video games for the world of wrestling, so I gotta have that. But I love this commercial right here. Like, just think about that. DDP, that was at the top of his game. You got Giant, you got the Outsiders. Oh, such a bad game. Such a bad game. Oh my God, I love this stuff. We have a Game Shark ad. This is not a game. It's a game enhancer. Plug it in and turn it on. Reveal the hidden, unleash the fury. Feed on the weakness. Never lose and never die. Abuse the power. What? Prima Publishing, the world leader in electronic entertainment books. We have strategy guides for Super Mario Kart 64, unauthorized game secrets. Super Mario 64, they couldn't even use the logos. Otherwise, they would get sued. Oh, Tomb Raider, so good. Turok. Man, that game looked like crap, but I love playing that game back in the day. Is there more stuff? Oh, we're almost done. I'm so sad. Detailed strategies for Turok, Star Fox 64, War Gods. Wow. That was a fighting game. Hey, talking about Blast Corps, that's a game I got at Toys R Us. We're almost done, people. We got one more page left. We got the back. Counter, pin, pulverize. With the signature moves and special moves of each wrestler revealed. This is your no-holds-barred complete guide to action. All moves for all wrestlers, bios of each wrestler, stats for WCW and NWO wrestlers. Original retail price, $12.99 US. Now, there is no way in hell I would have bought this back in the day because think about how simple these games are. You know, it really was just a matter of fact of, you know, up and grapple, down and grapple, or strike or something. Was pretty simple. But looking back, you know, like I think that the reason that I wanted to do this video and I bought these strategy guides is that there's something about going down memory lane and reliving this because, you know, all of these things, these descriptions and stuff, they're obvious to us now. But back in the day, Eddie Guerrero was not the Eddie Guerrero that we later, you know, had as a Hall of Famer and things like that. So I truly had a blast doing this, going down memory lane. As I mentioned, I have a bunch of strategy guides. I have a lot of old wrestling magazines, like limited edition stuff from early 2000s. So if you would like me to do something like this down the line again, definitely let me know in the comments. Don't forget about the things that I posted and I showcased at the beginning of the video. I've been thinking about doing something with that holiday edition magazine. Which is this one right here. I mean, look at the cover. You got Michael Jordan, you got Half-Life, Baldur's Gate 2, a Y2K special, games to play after the end of the world. Awesome stuff. But folks, if you like this video, you want to help support the channel, you can do so with a huge thumbs up, subscribe, and once you hit that sub button, look to the right, hit the notifications button, and in the comment section, let me know what you thought about this and definitely recommend other stuff for me to do. And up until next time, this video has definitely concluded, but the epic journey continues. So thank you for watching, gang. Take care. Man, WCW Nitro. This is bad. This is... Oh, Ray Tracers. I have no idea what the hell that game is.